So everyone else has already started their New Year's resolutions. They're posting about them, talking about them, crushing them, at least on the surface, right? And if you've been following along, you might feel a little behind. But here's the thing that we know. Rushing is one of the biggest reasons goals don't stick. And that's exactly why we're doing it different this year. And that is what we're diving into today. Hey friend, welcome to the show. Today is part 5 of our Goal Setting That Sticks series. So let me just say, if you are new here, I want you to stop right now and go back to episode 10. That is where we kicked this series off. And the series is done very intentionally in this order. And listen, I want you to crush your goals for 2026. And if you want to do that, if you want to actually follow through on those big goals that you have for the entire year, then you really do need to do it in order. Don't skip around. Go back to 10, start there. And I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but if you have been following along and you have not gotten your goal setting planner yet, go get it. The link is in the show notes. So each of these episodes is walking you through the what and the why, but the planner is where you actually apply it. That is where you brainstorm. That is where you make decisions for your life and your goals. So you want a phenomenal year, get the planner, listen to all 6 episodes, do the work. And I promise this time next year, you're going to be blown away. And if you have been following along, I just want to say a big congrats and applaud you for doing this work. It isn't easy. It takes some thought work and it takes patience because I know everybody else is talking about their goals. They're already at the gym, for now anyway, right? So it is normal to feel a little bit behind. But remember, it is not a mistake that we are taking the month of January to dig into this. That was intentional. Historically, winter was not a time to do. It was a time to think, to reflect, to plan. It wasn't the time to plant seeds or sow them. It was the time to decide what you were going to plant and how. And that has been part of the human experience over time. And that is exactly what we are doing here. So it should feel slower. It should feel more thoughtful. It should feel more intentional. That is the whole point. Okay, so let's just do a quick recap. So first, we did our year-end reflection. We looked back so we could begin from a place of abundance, capability, and awareness of everything we already handled. In part 2, we connected with our future self. We chose a theme for the year, that North Star that's going to guide us all year long. In part 3, we got really honest about what we want in this next chapter. And last week in part 4, we dug into those goals. We set identity-based goals for each of our big 5, and then we identified supporting milestones for each of those. So today, in part 5, we are setting up your 90-day blueprint. Because when we think about our goals over a whole year, it's too big. When we think about them over a week, it's too small. So like Goldilocks, we are looking for just right. And 90 days is our sweet spot. This is where we take your big 5 goals and break them down into a plan that feels doable, grounded, and realistic. This is where we establish the habits and the structure that is going to help you reach those goals. Now, I have to be honest with you guys. There are 2 things that I realized when I was done recording the last episode. And I just want to take a minute to clarify a couple things. So first, I want you to make sure that one of your goals is a big ass goal. One goal should stretch you. It should scare you, not terrifying, but uncomfortable, because that is where the most growth happens. So for me, my big ass goal is to write a book. I've never done that before. I have no idea how to publish a book or get it on Amazon or do any of that, right? Now, I have written a lot in my life, but this is completely different. This pushes me out of my comfort zone. So just review your list and make sure that one of your goals is really going to challenge you in new ways. And then the second thing that I want to clarify is the difference between your identity-based goal and your milestones. So your identity-based goal is who you're becoming. It's the big picture, right? Your milestones are how you will know if you lived it. So, for example, for me, home is one of my big five. My identity based goal is to create a spacious, clutter free environment. That's the identity piece. My milestones for that goal are things like weekly pile cleanup. I have a terrible habit of stacking mail and things that come into the house in one spot, and then I ignore it for like a month. So I'd like to change that to weekly. Another milestone is to choose one area each month to do deep dive, deep clean, declutter. And then my third milestone for this goal is just to do a daily 30-minute quick clean. Just walking around the house, putting things where they go, throwing things away, tidying up. And I know that if I do those 3 milestones, then my identity goal will be lived throughout the year. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so this week, you are going to start by choosing your quarter 1 focus. Now, I want to say up front, I know you are going to resist this because you are going to want to tackle all 5 of your big goals at one time. But that's not what we're doing. You are going to choose 1 or 2 of your big 5 to focus on for the first 90 days. And I know that your brain is going to shout at you. Mine does too. I have thoughts and feelings like, I should be able to handle more than this. I can't just focus on 1 or 2 things. But listen, this is science. There is a ton of research around goal pursuit and cognitive load that shows when we try to focus on too many goals at once, follow-through drops dramatically. Our time is limited. Our energy is limited. Our brain space is limited. And there is a lot of research that shows that the more you ask your brain to juggle, the faster it burns out. And we know this from our past lived experience also. This is one of the reasons that goals don't stick. It is because people try to tackle too many things at one time. They feel overloaded, discouraged, burnt out, and then you wind up sitting on your couch watching Netflix, eating Cheetos. So as you look at your big 5, I want you to ask yourself, which goals matter the most right now? Which 1 or 2 would create the biggest ripple effect throughout your life? Ask yourself, what would future you start with? That is how you're going to choose. Okay, so let me talk about 90 days, quarters, and that kind of thing real quick. If your brain works like mine and thinks in terms of business quarters, quarter 1 can still be January, February, March, even though January is already in progress. Okay, that's all right. If that doesn't work for you, or your brain doesn't go into business mode when I say quarters or 3 months or 90 days, then you get to choose any 3-month or 90-day period. So you could just start your first 90 days February 1st. These are your goals, and you get to pick what works best for your brain. Okay, so the next step, once you've chosen your 1 to 2 goals, you're going to select up to 3 milestones for each goal that you can realistically do in 90 days. So let me just give you an example. If health is one of my big 5, I might choose milestones like strength training 2 times a week, a consistent morning routine, tracking my sleep habits for 30 days. Okay, those are all things that you can do over a 90-day period and you can actually follow through on, right? Once you have that, then you're going to move on to setting your minimum baseline. Now, this is really important. We are going to assume right out of the gate that you are going to mess up. Not because you're a huge failure, not because you don't care about your goals, because you're a human being. So your minimum baseline is going to be the thing that you commit to doing no matter what, even when everything else falls apart. So again, back to our health example, maybe my minimum baseline is 10 minutes of walking a day, right? I can fit in 10 minutes of walking every single day, no matter what. I could have had a horribly stressful day. I could be traveling. It might be raining outside. It doesn't matter. I can make 10 minutes work because I could walk around my living room for 10 minutes if I had to. I could walk up and down the airport for 10 minutes while I'm waiting on a flight, right? Minimum. For my home example, maybe my minimum baseline is 5 minutes of tidying up every single day or every day that I'm at home. So again, it can be the craziest day ever. There can be all kinds of stuff going on. I can carve out 5 minutes for sure. And keep in mind here that missing a day or even a week does not ruin your year. What ruins your year is quitting. This is how we make sure we don't quit. So much of this is about setting habits for yourself. You are getting into the habit of working towards this goal that you have. And that is why we have a minimum baseline. We are not going to allow ourselves to have a day where we don't make some progress, even if it's just 5 minutes. All right, I also want you to set a reset mantra for yourself so that when you have those moments that you kind of fall off the wagon and you're not getting all your milestones done, you have something that you can lean on that's going to pull you back in. So my reset mantra is, what would future me do next? Notice that that is not about the past, right? It's not about shame. It's not about how I screwed up. It's about forward motion. It's what gets you back in the swing of things. So that combination of your reset mantra and your minimum baseline is what's going to keep you on track and keep you moving forward. All right, next, you are going to build your support system. So this is about thinking through what kind of structure is going to help you stay on track. So depending on your goal, depending on your milestones, it might be something like habit stacking. Again, I'll use the health example. So one of my big five is health. One of my milestones is to take my vitamins every day. And in the past, I've tried this and I'm just terrible at remembering to take them. I just forget. I don't think about it. Well, one thing that I do every single day without fail, I mean, it's a non-negotiable. When I get up in the morning, I go make my cup of coffee. Every single morning. You can bet on it. So I'm going to set my vitamins by the coffee maker and tie that new habit I'm trying to create to an already existing habit. That's habit stacking. Or maybe part of my system has to do with my environment, how I can change my environment to help me reach my goals. So again, I'm stuck on the health kick apparently. So one example would be if I want to cut out junk food. Well, we all know one of the best ways to do that is to get it out of your house, right? I'm going to clear out the junk food from my pantry and my refrigerator. And instead, I'm going to put healthy options in there. That just creates some friction for me. I'm going to have to now go out of my way if I want to eat crap, right? Maybe it's setting up accountability for yourself. So I have definitely used this one. One of my big 5 goals for the year is growth. And specifically, I want to read more personal growth books. So the support system that I set up for myself is to start a book club. My Better with Every Book Club is my accountability. And by the way, it could be yours too, right? This is going to give me a chance to not only stay accountable, because now I'm not just accountable to me, I'm accountable to you, my book club members. It's going to force me into deeper learning, and it's going to give me community. And I'm just throwing it out there. If growth is one of your big goals too, then joining this book club is a great fit for Q1. If you want to join us or learn more, the link is in the show notes. All right, so once you finish out your part 5 in your planner, I recommend that you take one clean sheet of paper, because if you're anything like me, everything you filled out before this has been kind of messy. Maybe not, mine is. So I just want one clean sheet of paper where I'm writing out goal number 1 for the quarter. Then I'm going to list my up to 3 milestones for that goal. I'm going to list out what my minimum baseline is and what my support system is for that goal. Then I'll do the same thing for goal number 2. And at the bottom, I'm going to write down my theme for the year, my North Star, and my reset mantra. And then put it somewhere visible. There is a reason that everybody says out of sight, out of mind, because that's how it works. So keep this front of mind and let it be your anchor for the next 90 days. Now, I do want to just say that choosing your 1 or 2 focus areas for this quarter doesn't mean you're ignoring everything else. It just means that your Q1 goals are your non-negotiables. They come first. So for me, I didn't put home as one of my Q1 goals, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to let my house turn into a pigsty. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to do laundry or that I'm never going to clean out a closet if I feel like it. I can even go ahead and add in my 30-minute tidying up every day or whatever, but I don't do it instead of the 2 goals that I picked as my focus. That's the key. The 2 that you pick for this quarter take precedent over all the rest of it. Your quarter one goals or your 90-day goals are your focus. Everything else is optional. All right, guys, next week, we are going to wrap this up with part 6. We are going to talk about how we're going to review things, how we're going to create check-ins for ourselves, and the system that is going to keep you sticking with this all year long. All right, so one last note. Once you do finish this section of the planner, you can go right ahead and start working on your quarter one stuff right away. And I just want to say you should be proud of yourself. You are doing this thoughtfully, and it's going to make a huge difference for you this year. All right, y'all, that's all I've got for today. Go be fabulous. Make sure you take my free Shift Happens quiz to find out what you're really craving next in midlife. Or if you think you might be ready to dive into one-on-one coaching with me, book a free clarity call. You'll find both links right below the video.